Welcome back to Music Theory Logic. Andrew here, and today is another Making It From Scratch. Number 10, big number today. And I, like many of you, have been hearing this Kate Bush song that Stranger Things brought back all around us. It has me in a synthwave kind of mood, so we're going to keep it like that kind of vibe. If you enjoy this, you would help me out a lot by subscribing to the channel. Let's go ahead into Logic. So here we are in a pretty basic Logic session. I preloaded instruments in here with the hopes that I would avoid my system crashing like happened last time I was using Arturia, pulling it up. I think it was a filter that actually crashed it. I have a drum beat programmed in here, super simple. It's kick, snare, kick, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, kick, snare. I use this to try to find a tempo. That brought me to 172 beats per minute. I feel like this is similar vibe to that running track, Kate Bush. Let's hear what this is. Cool. So I'm going to start out by, let's pick a key. I'll write in the key of A minor to keep this really, really simple for those of you out there. So this pad is an evolving sound. I'm going to use 4 notes in a row, and this is going to be kind of like an intro. And then we're going to drop it right here. So let's first write a chord progression. Make sure we're still rocking. Looks good. All right, so our chord progression is also going to be in the key of A. I like using pianos to write chord progressions. We don't necessarily need a piano in the end. Now, one thing, if you listen to that original, so a lot of people, this comes up a lot when I ask clients for references. They'll tell me things like, I don't want to give you reference because I don't want to like steal someone else's style. And references aren't to steal style. It's just to figure out like what world does that live in and how do we create something in a similar world. So one thing that Kate Bush track does is it's quick. I don't know if that's exactly 172, but it's a quick tempo. But the speed that the chords change is every 2 measures. So I'm going to mimic that. Keep it pretty simple. Let's go with an A minor chord, so the 1. Let's go to 5. So we could go to an F, then a D. All right, let's do something kind of creative here. When we go to the D chord, let's stay in natural minor. So I'm going to use a D minor chord here. Let me fill this in. So this is going to be an F major chord. Good opportunity to do a major 7th there, probably. Make sure I got this. All right, so it brings us to here. Let me fix the timing. All right, so I want to do a chord that is not in the key of A minor. We are going to use a principle called borrowed chords. I haven't mentioned it in quite a few videos, but a few years ago, as part of my course development for a recording studio I was working at the time, I did a pretty simple, it's like 100 pages, music theory text. If I've got any critique, it's that it's too simple, but that was my whole goal with it. I always link to that below. And one of the principles I talk about is when we use chords that aren't from a key, one of the simple ways we do that is borrowing chords. And how that works is in this moment of time, I'm going to think that I'm in the key of D minor. Now, what's kind of cool, this F major is also in the key of D minor. So what's a chord that is in D minor but not in A minor? Well, a B flat. This might sound kind of a little too crazy. So let's use our ears and see what we think of this. about a G minor 7. Cool. It's very, very different sounding. So this is a minor 3 in the key of D minor. That chord would be major. We would not get a B flat in the key of A minor. So that's kind of how we bring a chord in that's not in our key. And that will allow for more interesting melody stuff. So I have a lead in here. Let's write a lead. Now I'm going to try to not rip off a song, but I kind of have an idea in my head. If first it does not work, do not give up. Try and try again. So one thing that can really help with this is to try to like sing in your mind or to hum something. So. Flat. All right, so I don't really love that melody, but you don't necessarily have to love what you first write. Kind kind of like the cool thing is we can always keep evolving our piece of music. So if I look at this this melody right here, I can use that to then audition different sounds. Let's see if my OBS can handle this. A little bit of delay on it. We'll bring in some of our other instruments. So I have this kind of cool sequence here. Add some textures, just doubling this up. Beginning of every 2 measures with our root notes. So F, and then here it would be B flat, and we could go up to a D. Let's hear it from the beginning. Let's add some hi-hats in there. Borrow from famous tech house, offbeat, 8th notes. Can't go wrong with this. Unless you get it wrong. Which I did accidentally. So here it is. Take those, we could turn them down with our velocity. Let's add a bass in. I have a sub. Kind of experiment with this. So let's go with our root notes. Let's add a little bit of movement to that sub with our LFO tool. Now, one thing that song employs is a triplet in the bass, that Kate Bush song. So if I go to quarter note triplet at this speed, eighth note triplet. Now for fun, let's go to a chorus. So one thing we could do, like without much thought at all, is to take basically like our sub and our keys, which are playing the same notes. We could use automated MIDI functions to make it twice the speed. Now, because the fastest thing we were doing was whole notes before, now the fastest thing we're doing is half notes. If I do that, it's going to feel like it picks up a lot of energy. Now right here, perhaps we go to a dominant 5 sound. So there's our bass. So, and I misspoke there. I don't mean a dominant 5. This is the 4 chord in the key of A minor. I'm just going to do standard minor 4. Let's hear that going out a bit. We could add in our pad sound. Maybe not there. All right, so then we could write melodic development. So one thing we could do is we could take this to double time. Now, the reason I don't want to do that is that's going to make our fastest speed a 16th note, and we're already at 172 beats per minute, so that's like going to be really fast. What we could do is let's chop out these middle measures. Let's take these over so they match the chord progression. Then let's listen. Add some syncopation. Get rid of the first, every other. Not killing it with the melodies right now. It's okay. It happens. Hopefully that helps you remind you that I'm human. In some of these videos, I make the melodies a lot faster and smoother. So let's check this out from the beginning. Here we go. Last D in. All right, cool. Then I would probably structure it out like that. So we got the verse, chorus, and we've got that synthwave vibe. A huge portion of like the way music sounds to people, obviously the notes chosen, like the chords and the melodies, but also the instruments chosen have a huge deal to do with this. If I were to change these to non-80s feeling synths, it would have a completely different feel. If you're using Logic Pro, like me, there's a lot of really cool built-in plugins. Shout out to Arturia, which makes all of these different plugins I'm using. So hopefully that helped you. Once again, not the coolest track, but there is an idea here, and the idea is charted out. And I find that some days I am more on point with my mixing or like hearing things that I know I want to change. Some days I'm feeling more creative and I get ideas charted. Some days I just put one foot in front of the other, review my work the next day, and a lot of times it's kind of crazy the way that our musician brains work. Like even with some of the videos I've done for the channel, I felt like after I made it that it wasn't a very good beat. Excuse me. And then listening back, I actually really like it. And like one example of that is I did a short where it was like how to make a guitar track into an instrumental in under a minute. And I'm actually taking that beat and going to put it out to some artists for lease. If you have any questions about this, feel free to leave a comment. I love helping you out there. For those of you making tracks, put some of your music down there. I want to build a community here. Let's support each other's work. I linked a bunch of my music below. I make a bunch of different stuff, and I always like to have fun. I hope you enjoy it. If you're curious about any of the tracks, let me know. If this was helpful, you would help me out a lot by subscribing to the channel. If you do, I will see you next time. Go make some music. Thank you for hanging out on Music Theory Logic. Cheers.